Holy SWAC. Nice SWAC. Holy SWAC. Nice SWAC.
Those guys are having too much fun out there, man. So Deion Sanders, of course, Jackson State, they come out in that game against Eddie Robinson's team. And, and Deion's coming pregame. He's walking through their side. He's, and all of that stuff. And after the game, they have that exchange.
Yeah.
The tough exchange where he's, they go in and Eddie says, hey, I'm all for dapping. That's cool and being professional, moving on. But don't go in for the bro hug, hey, because you was doing too much extra stuff before the game. We're not cool right now. I was willing to dap you up just for the cameras and move on, and we could talk after the game. And then they go on even after that exchange, and what he's saying is, Eddie is saying, the head coach is saying for the other team, he's saying, hey, I thought that was disrespectful for Deion Sanders to do all of that pregame, kind of stand us up, and things like that. And I'm SWAC. He's not SWAC. He don't know the SWAC way. I am SWAC. So, if I have to, I'm paraphrasing. If I have to show you and tell you how to act and represent yourself here, I can do that because Eddie's, to that point alone, he's correct. He was drafted from a SWAC team to the NFL. He stayed there. He chose HBCU over other big colleges, and he was making a point that Deion chose Florida State actually over FAMU. I don't know if you knew that it was really close. It was between Florida State and FAMU for Deion Sanders to go to school to, and he chose Florida State to go to, and so he was doing all that, and Deion's press conference. He goes on to say, man, if I ain't SWAC, ain't nobody SWAC. What are you talking about, man? And he said, I wake up motivated and things like that. I don't need to walk through your side to be motivated. And what they did was, social media made a song out of it. And I guess they got a song and they got a copy of that song and played it at practice and was dancing to it. That has to have Eddie pissed the fuck. He's like,
well, yeah. There's a lot to this. There's a lot to unpack.
There's
a lot to it. First of all, Eddie's, I get him not being happy to handshake. He ain't SWAC thing or I'm SWAC, that was horrible. That was a bad take.
I just think he didn't have anywhere else to go.
I know, but that was never going to end well.
Yeah,
and so it becomes exactly what it does.
It becomes this. If you don't say that, if you don't go that route, like none of this, it just dies there.
Right, exactly.
But because you felt like you needed to add on and tack on.
What's it? It's this weird, divisive, almost generational thing. Like the subtext of it is, he's calling him out, which automatically makes him seem like old school and antiquated. Clearly, Deion's move is to push all the HBCU football to a different place.
Yeah.
He's pushed to get more scouts in, evaluating, and potentially drafting SWAC players. He's recruited at a higher level than Jackson State ever has. So he's trying to carry the whole thing forward. So if you become the resistance point on that, you look like a Republican. That's not a way to go. And Deion's going to spoof you. Now, but the other take, there's a guy I follow on Facebook, friend of mine, James Coleman, out of Jacksonville, former FSU player. He had a take. I actually shared it with you.
Yeah.
But one of his takes is Deion, let's not be foolish. If when you were at FSU, if some other coach did that, it wouldn't have flown.
Right.
Like hands would have been thrown.
Like if you would have walked through that side.
If some other coach would have done that with the FSU dynasty teams, there would be hands thrown.
There would have been, yeah.
So don't act like you didn't. His thing is this: do what you're doing,
but don't
tell me you ain't doing what you're doing.
Don't act oblivious.
Yeah.
But Deion's point, he actually commented to that as well. Like why did you choose to do that? Because Eddie didn't like it. So what Deion said was those guys scheduled us for their homecoming game. And I'm not sure how like big schools do it because homecoming in my mind is not big. Like Florida homecoming game, like the Gators, like I don't know who they play. I never know. But HBCU homecoming is like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's like our thing.
Yeah.
Everybody comes back home from out of town. Everybody goes to the game. Everybody's there the entire weekend. You're supposed to schedule the sorriest team in the conference because everybody's coming out of town to see you guys win.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, that's universal.
So,
I mean,
so they
homecoming is always supposed to be kind of an automatic win game.
So they scheduled Jackson State and Deion for their homecoming game, and Deion says, "Well, you guys are just doing that for a money grab because you know that I'm here, I'm Deion, and this is Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
You scheduled us for a money game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show up and show out and kick your teeth in. That's why, Eddie was also mad that he didn't kneel on the late in the fourth there. They were still playing offense.
Yes. Okay, so then that gets it. All right, so that's the next layer of this. It's competition. Yeah. Everybody knows you try to schedule a win on homecoming.
Yeah.
So if you schedule Jackson State in their present form,
team in the
again, if I'm Deion doing the same thing, I'm saying these motherfuckers invited us to homecoming.
Yes.
We're going to make this homecoming. We're going to fuck them on the field and we're going to fuck all their bitches afterwards. Leave no bitch unfucked.
I could definitely see him saying that in the locker room. Don't y'all leave without everybody touches at least one.
and then the whole thing, the whole thing with take a knee or stop pass, never say that.
Yeah.
There's never been a coach in the history of football that has made some comment about, I didn't think that was cool to, throw that pass or not take a knee there that's ever looked good.
No.
But here's the bigger issue, and I will give Deion a lot of respect because I do think his efforts to kind of bring attention to HBCU football have been from the right place. But the reality is this: they're building a monster that the SWAC can't contain.
Yeah.
And most of these games have been uncompetitive, and that bridge is just going to get further and further wide.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of problems with that. Either if Deion stays there and continues to build this thing, they need to schedule minimal conference games and then go big game hunting.
Yeah.
And try and get some FBS schools to schedule them and play them, and then just go that way. But the other thing, and I think that this, every power conference job that comes up, Deion's name is now in the mix. And I think if he continues to be in this situation where there's just a lot of pettiness going on,
right,
I think that'll push him to a PWI.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tricky because I don't know what Deion is really, what his long game is, right? I would assume he's going to stay at least till his sons graduate.
But with the transfer rules,
they could transfer.
They go anywhere they want.
So
they could travel with him.
It could be a package deal.
100%. And here's why. And again, I don't know. I'm speculating. But, I think he goes to Jackson State. He's recruited at a high level. He's coached well enough. He's building this monster. Again, he was coaching high school football.
Yeah.
And the big question was always does he really want to coach or can he really coach at this level? He's showing he can. And I think he's going to start looking at it again. Yeah, if I got the right guys, I could go play Alabama. I can play Georgia, and whatever. I can coach. I can recruit. And maybe Jackson State's essentially holding me back from that. And what I'm saying is and part of that dynamic will be kind of the pettiness and the rigmarole that they give him in the conference and stuff like that. Are they going to just a lot of petties if
it's more Eddie,
Eddie stuff, is there going to be again, will they give him the latitude to again, I don't know how many conference games he's obligated to play, but will they give him the scheduling latitude to go schedule some other teams big five power five conferences?
No,
or not?
1,000%. The issue won't be from that side, from the SWAC side, from Jackson State side. It's going to be, will the Alabamas, will the Floridas,
will they want to?
I
think it can come from both sides. I don't think it's there yet, but they may be in a situation where it's okay, historically we play whatever, Grambling State on this weekend, but no, I can go, get Ohio State this weekend, and he wants to do that and move the schedule, and they act like, oh, we can't move the schedule, so we always play this. Like, that's small-minded thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's there. I don't know, but I'm just saying, if that becomes something, that'll be another factor that he'll just be like, dude, I'm trying to be up here, and this conference doesn't want to be there.
I think Deion has a real opportunity, and I like I said, I'm not sure. I didn't follow him, back in my day, so I don't know his type of line of thinking. But he has a huge opportunity to where he can bring HBCUs back up to a level of competitive football across the land, because everybody knows, back in the day, all the top athletes went to HBCUs. So if they get to a point where Jackson State can competitively play against Ohio States and whatever, University of Miami's and things like that. It doesn't have to be the top of the top like Alabama and fucking University of Georgia, but I'm just saying, competitive football with top tier Division I. I think if he can do that, that's way bigger than him moving to an Ohio State and winning a national championship. It's a light years difference in what it'll do for him and for the culture and for HBCUs.
I agree with you, and that's what's most impressed me with his run as coach.
Yeah.
My concern, though, is that, like,
no, I understand.
They've got to come with him.
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be Jackson State here and the rest of the HBCUs here. There's got to be another couple teams that kind of, that go at least close enough so that he's not playing every conference game as 56-10.
Yeah.
Because that's going to kill the product.
I was going to name some of the scores. Just this year alone, one was Jackson State. They won 59-3 against a FAMU team that only lost like 2 or 3 games last year in the conference. They beat Grambling State 66-24. They beat Mississippi Valley State 49-7. So yes, it's been some disparity for sure.
And this is like literally like year 2.5.
Yeah,
like it's again if
the best player's been out.
Yeah, Travis. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's everything he's doing is right and impressive, and there's no reason to think, well, man, as much airtime as he's got. And here's a critical thing. Jackson State has been on social media like literally every week of the football season.
Mm-hmm.
The games are so bad, they're not getting that much.
Yeah,
they're not. You're not sitting down and saying, "Oh, what's Jackson State up to?" And even the highlights are kind of slim because they're just not competitive games. Yeah. And you're right though. There's going to be a hurdle. Like, what Power 5 school wants to play them, knowing they could lose?
Who wants to pay them and play them?
Yeah, but I think the other one that I think the way somebody might take that leap, but I think the other one, the more likely leap, is you'll have the Labor Day game at neutral site, and it'll be Jackson State against somebody.
You know what I wanted to talk about last week, because I saw he was on a
like Jackson State Ole Miss.
He was on a show, a podcast.
Lane Kiffin might do that.
He might, and he was saying how the HBCUs, when they're playing these Power 5 schools, they're getting considerably less money than the Appalachian States and the PWI small schools.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. It's like FAMU this year got paid, I think he said like $400,000 for that game against I forgot who they played. It was Ohio State, Miami.
Well, yeah, and the ones that beat Miami a couple weeks ago, they got paid like 1.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was this exact thing he was saying.
But Deion, like, again, that's where Deion's going to make a difference.
But will that stifle him though? Will teams say like, well, we're not going to play you unless you take this $500,000? And Deion's like, well, I'm not taking $500,000, so we're not going to play Ole Miss or.
It won't stifle Deion, but I don't think it'll change the rest of the HBCU situations. I think Deion is enough of a brand that he'll do it that way. Like he'll if he's talking to teams and they're trying to lowball him, he won't do it. He'll go to Chick-fil-A and say, "Hey, I want to play somebody in Atlanta Labor Day weekend. You find them. I don't care who it is. It could be Georgia. It could be, whatever. It could be Ole Miss. It could be whatever. I'm gonna be there, and you pay me what you pay. Yeah, because people will watch that."